All right, so my next question is, if you don't practice in these ways or follow the Dharma, so to speak, or study the Dharma, do you have less access to the subtle and spiritual? Like, is that what the Dharma provides? Does it provide, more attention?
Well, certain aspects of spiritual practice, of spiritual life, have to do with all the levels, right? Including sleep, which is completely on the subtle, the inner, non-conscious even, right? The unconscious. So the idea, of course, is to be open to having a realization from the unconscious to the subconscious or preconscious to the conscious to the superconscious. Beyond. I mean, we are all of it. See? We are the real. We don't live necessarily as the real. And when we are getting bad results or effects from whatever we're doing, then it's time to find a practice that enables you to trim that back, push back the darkness, the negativity or the pain, so that you can get in the bubble of goodness and feel good about what you need to do out here. See? And so you do whatever you need to do to feel good. Sometimes it's a bad thing in the beginning, or a dark thing, drinking, and sort, which is a form of, I guess, healing for some people and calming you down. And then it evolves to different things that you can be doing, and then feeling that because you're doing different things that are to your advantage or for the benefit of other people. Then we can go from what you're doing to how you think and what you feel and what your view is. And that has a lot to do with the results you create, what your view is, what your expectations are of the results that you're looking for, or effects, see, of your being, a thinking, feeling, relating human being, or an unhappy being. See. All of that creates effects. So you want to refine your state of mind so that you look for the best effects for you and others. That makes good sense. Yeah. Comment?
So, I mean, you would say in that case, there's certainly better things that you could be doing for yourself that are beneficial to you, and then it permeates and it could help other people.
Well, your goodness becomes pervasive. See? You permeate it. Your heart nature is permeated. Your good nature is a presence. And so if you're looking for the pure spiritual, then you have to follow the rules of that process. Most people want social and material and occupational advancement and progression. And so they have to stick to those lines to advance themselves. And other people want more. They want more inner wealth or consciousness or intelligence or sensitivity. See? A number of the people want to see ghosts. They want to see aliens. But that's not available to everybody. It really depends on your resonance and whether or not the aliens are interested in you for some reason or other, experimentally speaking or humanly speaking, see? Or extraterrestrially speaking, because some of us might be, ancient aliens in our own way. And so they have your number. They can have your number. And they may be watching a lot of the people down here, as I've had the experience of things of that sort before, and my run-ins with strange people, right? And people of a different intelligence, but they feel there's a kinship with us, and some of them are benign. I'm sure you have both sides of the spectrum that are operational here on the Earth planet for various and maybe differing reasons. See? Some help the dark side, what we call the dark side, our enemies, and then some help, our friendly side. See? What we call our friendly, our type, our needs, and so on and so forth. See? So that everybody's taken care of by some let's say, level of some hierarchy that goes straight up to the ethers and beyond that, to light. Right? So the darkness is part of it. I'm not saying it's good, but you have to get through it. You have to experience your darkness, your emotions, your ideas of darkness, and unhappiness, pain and suffering, in order to move beyond them and purify yourself, or get to the level where you're tired enough of the same old for yourself, so you start renouncing things you don't need and say, I want more than this. I want something deeper than this, more fulfilling than this, more spiritual, more heart-opening, mind-expanding than this. I want wisdom. I want no universal reality.
So you would say it could start as what one is seeking, or what one wants to, how one wants to maybe even appear to the world.
In other words, yeah, good point. In other words, you work with your programs, what you've been given as a human, or a son, or a relative of other beings, a member of a family or a clan or a gang or whatever. You start with that, and then you allow what it is to peel away. Say, okay, did that, what's next? Say, so then you assume a more creative attitude. Say, well, I want much more than these limits. I want much more than this culture. I want much more than this neighborhood. And then for others, they want much more than this planet. And for others, they want much more than this universe.
So would you say that being on the spiritual path, or in the Dharma, or whatever you want to say, in the practice, does that give
the spiritual path could mean anything to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're talking about the transcendent path, then that's, let's say, a reach beyond what most people are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
So the spiritual path is, it's a path of life. It is that already. But what level, what intensity, is one willing to progress to in order to know what the super spiritual path is, if they're on that path? Then that means mastery, mastering body, mind, and soul, and spirit too. Mastering the world, mastering your life. But most people speak of spirituality as something that's more comforting and more easy and relaxing, and mostly healing. Something that's healing feels good. Spiritual life isn't only about that. It's pure fire. Beyond the point, it's transformational. That means it's creative, destructive. It's war against the negative, so to speak, at one stage.
So would you say that it could offer somebody like maybe a new goal or something like that, so to speak? I mean, maybe like to give somebody the idea of like higher attainment, or to give somebody at least that spark to know, okay, this is where I need to get to.
But the spiritual path is not something outside of you. You are the spiritual path already. And as you study and observe or inspect yourself, analyze your, let's say, outflow, who you show up as and what you show up doing, then you can modify that to get the better results for you. If you're progressing, that means to become a better person, higher level of human being. Say, if you have noble pursuits, then that's progressive. Moving in the direction of, let's say, ultimately the angelic, which we are part of the angelic. We're part of the animal. In between, we are human, and then on the upper level, we are angelic beings. See, we have that. We are light beings. So enlightenment is native to us, actually, once we get to that point where the darkness no longer does it for us, or suffering doesn't do it for us beyond the point, and the heart starts to open to its true nature, the mind starts to expand into its true formlessness, right? Awareness, and progress is attained. I'm not saying that's enlightenment, that's a step on the path, right? Because everyone's different. It's not going to be the same for everyone. Some people can fall into an enlightened condition without thinking about it, and not even recognize it as such, and feel super okay. Nothing's bugging them at all. They just feel up, light, compassionate, open, appreciative, grateful, right, kind, so on. Good, generally good, for a moment, and that's a flash of it. So sometimes people experience this thing called enlightenment in flashes, because it's not somewhere else, right? The heart is here. And
That's it.
it's what level of the heart that determines what it is.
Would that be someone, the same thing as someone having like a blissed out experience? You know, I've heard of people.
Could
like,
be that.
I had a opening and somebody was
Oh, yeah.
blissed out for
Yeah.
a month or this whole period of time.
It could be that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's common.
Right.
That's common. That's part of the burn off of karma. And then they come back down. It could happen sooner. It really depends, yeah. Because that's positive, and that balances the negative. Because of the intensity or extent to which a person has been full of negative energy, there has to be a balance and a release. And sometimes, under certain conditions, you have a certain kind of high or positive sort of level of, let's say, burn off, where you're, the best person anybody's ever met for a while. According to the laws of time, it fades. Right? And then people look at you. Oh, I remember you when you were not bad. Hey, hey, what do you think about him? Remember him? Yeah. And it fades. But that's not enlightenment. That's a high, let's say an up, or positive burn off, which is not enlightenment. Is described beyond the duality of feeling good and feeling bad. It's got nothing to do with that sort of, what is that, seesaw effect. It's beyond that. See?